Hi, I'm Ellie, and I am a co-founder of Liberation Philadelphia 2.0. A couple nights ago, we had a community-wide call. In the call, we discussed who Liberation Philadelphia was, what went wrong, and how we brought it back from the ashes to become one of the most positive vegan activist communities in the world. First, let me just say that we only have a handful of members right now in our community that were even in the original Liberation Philadelphia. Our co-founder, Monsi, she's one of them. And they really used the experience with the original Liberation Philadelphia to learn and grow and to make sure that in the future our community is a positive community, that we lift each other up, that we hear each other's ideas, because together we're stronger. We have never done activism before. If you were in the original Liberation Philadelphia and you haven't come to Liberation Philadelphia 2.0, we're telling you we have something really special going on here. We're doing things here that no one else in the country is doing. We're really working to create real change on a mass scale here. We're working to create a different kind of activist community, completely independent, where everybody matters. Everybody's ideas are important, and where all of you make this possible. So we have something for just about everyone. And if there is something you think we should be doing and we're not doing it, contact us. If you want to be more involved, contact us. However involved you want to be, we want you to do that. That we're not tied to any other organization. We're not bound by any other organization's reputation. We're not bound by any other organization's rules, and that we can do things right. But most importantly, it means that we can grow this community using your ideas. This is not a top-down organization. You know, we knew that we wanted to grow this community differently. We knew that we wanted to be independent. And we were so adamant about being independent that, or we wanted to be so independent that we did a couple of things wrong. We wanted to be so independent, we didn't even centralize our social media. We didn't even have a website. But we're growing so much that now we're realizing that we definitely need social media and that we need a website. We also are going to start a 501c3. It's important to us to be as transparent as possible. So we also were torn about if we should have a Patreon or not. So on our community-wide call the other night, we asked the community what they thought. Should we have a Patreon? And they all pretty much unanimously agreed that we should. That brings me to my next point, is what is happening now with all this coronavirus stuff. Had to cancel everything that we had planned for about the next month. We had grocery store disruptions. We had a fur protest coming up that was going to be really neat. And of course, we had our big one, which is the slaughterhouse action that was going to be on the 22nd in the live market in the Italian district of South Philly. We also had something coming up that we're really excited about called a vegan art night. We think it's going to be a monthly thing, and we're so excited that that Tim Quinn is going to be the host as his alter ego, his drag queen ego, Jody. So he's going to be the star of the show, and we really want to have you there. So just stay tuned. And stay tuned for our other actions too. As soon as this is over, we're going to be back in the trenches, and we really want you to be there. Not only are we running our community differently, we're also doing something else that no one else in the country is doing. So what we're doing is we're developing a pilot program in Philadelphia that will help urban slaughterhouses switch to plant-based businesses. And what we want to do is have that model be used all over the country. Here's the thing. If you just shut down urban slaughterhouses, all you're doing is moving the slaughter outside of city lines, so it's further behind closed doors. You also have a business going out of business in an already struggling neighborhood. You have employees out of work, and the animals are still dying. What we want to do is create real change, and we want to do something that's positive for the neighborhood, the environment, and that can save animals on a mass scale. So, the Beyond Meat IPO, for example, was the highest selling IPO in the country last year. Plant-based businesses are booming right now. Plant-based businesses are better for the business person. They're better for the employees. They're better for the neighborhoods and the environment and the animals. No one wants a live market in their neighborhood. Nobody wants to have to kill animals for a living. And the animals certainly don't have a choice in this. So we're working to change it. We're working to change things on a mass scale. And we want you to be a part of it. We're doing really exciting things here in Philadelphia, and we're doing things differently. So that brings me to my next point. Let me just say that nothing like this has happened in Liberation Philadelphia 2.0 so far. It's been nothing but a positive experience, and we really do have this amazing group, like no other activist community I've ever seen. But we're growing and growing. And if you ever have a problem with somebody in our community, if you've been a victim of bullying, abuse, if you have any sort of issue, even if it's not like one of the issues that I just mentioned, you can always come to Monsi or me in complete confidence. We have an open door policy. Again, this is not a top-down organization. Everybody's ideas are equally as important. Everybody's opinion is equally important. Everybody is equal in this thing. So always come to us, please. Another thing that we want to address is our policy on intersectionalism. Now, if you look in the Liberation Philadelphia policies on our Facebook, you'll see that we have a zero tolerance policy. But a lot of organizations say that, and truth be told, it's just lip service. And the current climate of the vegan activist community, I think it's important that we say that Liberation Philadelphia 2.0 is consistently anti-oppression. In the same way that we would say to a human rights activist that how can you fight oppression every day while you're oppressing someone every time you sit down to eat, it goes the other way too. As long as we're fighting oppression against animals, we're fighting all oppression. All oppression is linked. You can't fight one type of oppression while you're promoting another kind. Now, we're not saying that you need to be at every LGBTQ march or every human rights march. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying that we don't want to be a part of the discrimination of any group at all. We're an inclusive group, and I think that whenever you're a part of a community, that you represent that community. So whenever you're making posts online and any sort of public forum, just be cognizant of that. Remember that we're taking a stand against oppression, and we're fighting all oppression. So in your posts, in your communication, just remember that all oppression is linked. You can't fight one without the other, and just to be mindful. Hi, we also were torn about if we should we also were torn about if we should have section with about double that are interested. I think about double that